everybody. I am Jessica Koch, and this is another Profound Professionals interview series. I am your host, Jessica Koch, and in Profound Professionals, we have been interviewing for over 5 years now amazing individuals from all over the world that are inspiring people and doing things outside of the box, profound for themselves, and also touching the lives of the world in other ways. Today, I am so excited to have and feature James Hipkins. Since 2010, James has built his clients' businesses with digital marketing. I'm a big marketing fan. You guys know that. Today, James is passionate about websites and helping the rest of us understand online marketing. His customers value his jargon-free, common sense approach. Yeah, keep that techie stuff simple. James explains the ins and outs of digital marketing in ways that make sense. So welcome today, James.
I am thrilled to be here, Jessica. I'm looking forward to our conversation.
So tell us how you ended up. So in 2010, you found this, you tripped into this journey. So tell us how that happened.
Well, I'd had a very long, very successful career in the advertising and marketing world. 4 countries on 3 continents. Worked with a lot of big brands, big budgets, etc. And I was to the point where didn't want to deal with the politics anymore. Was kind of aging out, had an opportunity to buy a vendor. And when I looked at digital marketing and I looked at how businesses were using digital marketing, and this is in 2010, so 12 years ago, the website was the most important digital asset that a business owns. Most of them are terrible. Mm-hmm. And I wanted to bring my 40 years of experience in marketing strategy and all that kind of stuff, making effective programs, to bear on this very, very key piece of the marketing puzzle, which is the business's website.
That's super, super, super important. So tell us a little bit about what is it like to work with you from a customer standpoint. So am I buying your online course? Am I taking your webinar? Are you working one-on-one with customers and you're giving me the whole custom experience? Like, what are the ways and or different ways that we can work with you as a customer?
Well, the way people work with us is I've built a team that draws on our expertise. Our mainline business is building large corporate websites. These are often projects with 6-figure budgets, very complicated, sophisticated, custom work, a lot of back-end connections, which is kind of a roundabout way of saying we actually know what we're doing. We created innately 5 years ago to be able to bring our knowledge and expertise to bear on for smaller businesses. Most smaller businesses can't afford to work with us. So we created innately as a website subscription service. So a smaller business owner, 6-figure business owner who is or wants to be using digital marketing to drive growth, ready to upscale their website, they come to us because we bring all of this expertise to bear. The other piece of this is because we host and manage and maintain large corporate websites, we have a complete support infrastructure in place. And I like to say the key problem here for most small business owners is not having a website, it's getting their website people to actually answer the phone. Mm-hmm. And so that's our proposition. Because this support infrastructure is already in place, we answer the phone. We're there when you have questions, and we're there when you need something done, and it gets done quickly and it gets done right.
So I'm not one of the Fortune 1000, and I'm not going to build this giant website custom with you. And I do this innately. What does that give me? Is it a monthly subscription? Does it give
it's software as a service? Yes, it's a monthly subscription. There's a small setup fee, and then there's a monthly subscription, and we take care of all of the sort of blocking and tackling aspects. We design the site, we build the site, we host the site, we look after security, we do software updates, we do all of that stuff in the back without you even seeing what's going on. And you have access to our support team and our support infrastructure. So you're welcome to do it yourself, but most of our customers are at the point in their business where it's not cost effective for them to do it themselves. They want a reliable resource that they can count on.
So they're paying a monthly service to have all of that support done on an ongoing basis. And then do they actually get, what kind of tech support are you talking about, email, or can I call you, or is it a chat, a live chat, or what, how is that support connected?
It's usually initiated with an email through our support portal.
Mm-hmm.
If a live chat is required, one of our content specialists will arrange that time. It's kind of an ad hoc situation. In other words, if it can be managed through email, we'll take care of it through email. If it requires a conversation, we'll initiate a conversation. But it's always with real people.
All right. So next question is, before we move on to the next piece that I'm going to ask, is there anything else about your company or your business that you'd like to share that we haven't covered?
Well, one of the little idiosyncrasies that we identified is a real opportunity that I think it's a global opportunity, but focusing on the United States. All of the very, very, very smart women who've decided to stay at home with children. We wrote our software with that audience in mind, and we are recruiting these smart stay-at-home moms who are looking for part-time jobs that are interesting, that pay better than minimum wage, and where they can control their hours.
Mm-hmm.
They're not at the mercy of a retail staffing algorithm.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the other half of this business model is, how do I cost effectively deliver all this great service? It's by recruiting and training these women, stay-at-home moms, to design and build websites.
That's awesome.
Yeah, a lot of them never would. I literally have had conversations. I don't know how to log into a website. And I'll tell you, when I'm recruiting, I look for only two things: are they nice, and are they responsible? Because
Mm-hmm.
I can't teach those two things,
Mm-hmm.
but I can teach everything else.
That's awesome. I love that.
And I mean, literally, I had one woman said to me, this is the most satisfying thing she'd done in her adult life, because it's interesting. It's a team. There's lots of support. If you've got a question, somebody else has probably dealt with it before. And we use virtual tools to make that community hum. And as an interesting side note, about 60% of our content specialists are military spouses.
Yeah, that's awesome. I love
And
that.
these are college educated people who they keep getting moved. So it's hard for them to get a serious job,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't care where they live.
Right.
I'm looking for, are they responsible and are they nice?
That's wonderful. So the next thing I'm going to ask, is there one thing, if I could only do one thing to my website or know that needs done to my website, what is one of the most important things that I could do in real time, or people listening could do in real time? Think about it, ask about it, get help with it. What is that one thing on my website that is really crucial?
Well, people don't buy what you sell.
Mm-hmm.
People buy solutions to their problems.
Mm-hmm.
And the most common mistake I see when I audit websites is they're what I call inside out.
Mm-hmm.
It's the company shouting to the world at large how awesome they are.
Mm-hmm.
The world at large doesn't care.
Mm-hmm.
They want a solution to their problem. So if you can just make that one shift from stop talking about yourself and start talking about the problem you solve, your impact will increase like overnight.
That's an awesome, awesome piece of advice. So one of the other foundation reasons we started Profound Professional Interviews is because I wanted to work with people who are doing things innovative in their industry, like you are, with the way you hire and the different solutions you have for people with different price points and companies. I love all of that. But I also love that you have causes that you care about. And I feel like if we're going to take the time to be on a podcast and push this out to a million places and write an article about it, if we're going to raise each other up and lift each other up, we could also take a pause and a moment to spread awareness to something that could help someone, because you never know who are watching these or listening to these podcasts later, and who they might share this with because they know that person needs to know about that cause, or it could help them, or they get excited and inspired to become involved in it. So it's just such a wonderful win. So can you share with us, you had a cause that you were going to share with us that is special to you?
Well, it's something that impacted my life when I was a young person. I was a college student. I had worked in construction for several summers, and this is back in the 1970s, when you could actually work in construction for 2 summers and make enough money to pay for a 4-year college degree. So I had some summers that were free. And I thought, well, I'll take some courses. Then a friend of mine told me about an organization called Camp Outlook. And what Camp Outlook does is it takes challenged youth, juvenile delinquents, borderline juvenile delinquents, on 10-day canoe trips up in Northern Ontario. I'm from Canada. I'm from Eastern Ontario. I went to college in Canada. And what this program does is it opens up whole new vistas of opportunities for these kids. As common as it is to us, a lot of these kids have never had a success experience.
Yeah.
They've never gotten from A to B and had an adult say, good job. I know that sounds so simple, but it makes such a difference. There was one young boy, he did not want to go on this trip. And this was the 1970s, so the rules were a little different. We literally had to pick him up and push him into the bus to get him on this trip. And off he went, and he was truculent and obstinate and argued and fought with other kids. And it was just a bad experience. But we kept at it, and we'd sit there at the end of the portage and say, no, I'm not going to carry your pack for you. I've already carried my pack and a canoe all the way to the other end and come back for you. You're going to do this. And eventually he did it. And at the end of the 10-day trip, we're in the parking lot. The counselors are gathering up the kids and we're shifting them over to the new round. And he didn't leave. And I saw him talking to his counselor, and the counselor came over and said, he wants to go again.
Isn't that the way? You can't get him in the bathtub, then you can't get him out.
And I'll tell you, we don't normally do this, but we had an opening, so we let him go again. He's now a doctor.
I love that. That's awesome. That is a beautiful, beautiful story. Okay, the other thing people know who follow my show is I am a lover of books. Books light me up, they excite me. I'm always looking for the next book that's going to help me inspire and improve my personal life or grow my business. And so whenever I have a guest on the show, when I can, I ask if there is a book that has inspired your life or help you grow your business. Is there a book that you love?
Yes, it's an old book, but it had a very significant impact on me earlier in my career. It's called The Loyalty Effect, and it's by a gentleman named Reichheld. He was a consultant at the Boston Consulting Group, and he wrote a book about the impact that loyalty has on customers and on businesses. And he was the first to identify, at least the first that I was able to find, to identify that a loyal customer impacts revenue in a business in 5 different ways.
Wow.
And that had a profound impact. I was working in loyalty programs at the time. I read this book. It just opened my mind and shifted my mindset around to a whole different way of thinking about customers and customer loyalties. And it has influenced and impacted my understanding of marketing and the way I coach marketing now, all throughout my career, and it's generated some huge, huge impacts for the clients that I've worked with.
I love that. I love it when I learn about a new exciting book that I didn't know about. Now it's on my list to read this year, so I'm excited about that. Yay. Thank you for sharing that. So everybody, if you are a profound professional, if you have something that will help someone's personal life or business grow, and inspiring. And you are also involved in a cause that touches the community, either directly in your community or somewhere around the world. And you would love to be a guest on our show, reach out to us because we would love to have you. But better yet, be a hero to someone else. If you know a profound professional, someone who inspires others and would be perfect as a guest on our show, be a hero to them and to us and introduce us to that amazing person. I am Jessica Koch, your host of Profound Professionals. But before we say goodbye, I'm going to ask, as I always do, for our guests to share one last piece of information or inspiration. What do you have for us as we say goodbye, James?
Well, I'll tell you, the one thing with all of the swirl of stuff that goes on in digital marketing, it's so overwhelming. Stop trying to boil the ocean.
Yes.
Pick one or two things that you know are going to reach your audience and figure out how to do them really well. And then when you've figured out how to do them really well, figure out how you can do them better. Water the flowers and prune the weeds. It's such a simple idea, but people miss it all the time. They get overwhelmed by the next shiny thing that comes flying through.
It's true.
Stop trying to boil the ocean.
I love that. Well, thank you. And again, everybody, this is Profound Professionals. I'm Jessica Koch. And until next time, be kind to yourself and be kind to each other. Bye, everybody.